What's going on, everybody? So this video is going to be formatted around the three trades that me and my team took over the past 2 days. Today's date is Friday, April 14th, so the market is closing today, but starting Wednesday the 12th to this morning, which is the 14th. I'm going to go ahead and go over the three trades that I had focused on, or that we had focused on as a team, and what we learned together, and that would be Eurusd, UsdJpy, and AudJpy. So first and foremost, the first trade I had taken, which was the Euro-USD short. So obviously you can see I have everything typed out here on why exactly this trade was a great opportunity to catch some pips and ultimately make some money. So first and foremost on this given area, Euro-USD, this is the hourly time frame, as you can see here. We had a major supply area, okay? We had a major supply area, which you can see here in the past. There was a major resistance of the price, rejected many times here in the past. Now, when price had came back up to this area, the first thing that got me is I was looking here on the hourly time frame. We had a lot of wicking, okay? Wicks tell stories. People don't think that wicks matter. Wicks do matter. Wicks tell you a story. So first and foremost, the thing that I got before any of this other price had really fell into play is the fact that price had failed to push past the 0.06749 area, which I have that marked out. As you can see, I have this black horizontal line placed here. You can see where I have this pink circle drawn around that wicking price area. So I had drawn that area of price because I saw, okay, this wicked high and rejected. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this in the beginning so I know this is a rejected area of price. Now, that is not where I would have taken an entry. Okay, I waited because sooner or later you can see there was price exhaustion at this area. Clearly, and another thing is it was a rising wedge, which is a major market pattern. I mean, and that's just studying basic material. You would know that that is a rising wedge, which is a major market pattern. So we already have a couple confirmations going first and foremost. Obviously, one, a major supply area or a major area of resistance is one. The second thing that got me is the fact that this was a rising wedge forming. Now, I wait for my wedges to form. A lot of people would say, oh, I'm going to take my trade here, which is, I mean, would have been completely fine if you use good risk management and say you took your trade here. You would have only, let's see here, you would have only had about 10 pips at max of retrace before the market decided to come back down. But me and myself, I wait for these to form, and how that is I waited for it to push more up towards price. I mean, and this all comes with experience, and I can't say that enough. Well, first and foremost, you have to study more than you trade, and then seeing these type of opportunities, you kind of have that general idea of what's going to happen, because trading in the currency market is all based on opinions, and it really comes down to, yes, skill set does matter, but as I say all the time not only I tell myself all the time, but for my private students as well, trading is 90% mentality, 10% skill. And that really is on point. Your mind, because trading is based on opinions, your mind has to be in that correlation. But again, so I waited for this to form. Okay, so as you can see this entire time, because I have this black horizontal line marked, price was exhausted. You had smaller bodied candles. It really wasn't going anywhere, but we still waited. Price again came back up, tested a higher price, but still closed below the price that was rejected here throughout that whole period of time. Now here we had price was getting there, price was slowing down. So at this point in time, it was nearing the end of my wedge here, because you can see I had it drawn. This is an area where I would have taken entry. Okay. Now, a lot of people say, oh, that's not the traditional way to take a trade based off of this major market pattern. Well, here's the thing. When you have multiple confirmations to give yourself the general idea of what's going to happen, you use good risk management and trust your ability and trust your skill set, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? So obviously, like I had said, price had failed to push past this given point in time. We had a rising wedge. There's 2. We had a major resistance area. That's 3 confirmations. Now, leading up to that point, we also had a downward momentum with divergence. That is 4 confirmations. Okay, and then lastly and foremost, the first retest of this zone. So you can see price broke. This was the first price that broke down from this zone. Okay, and then price had came up and tested this zone. First retests of zones are very, very crucial. They're crucial in the regards that almost every single time they will reject that zone. But obviously, what also gave me the clear indication that the zone was going to be rejected was the fact of all the other confirmations that I had into play or confluence, multiple confirmations to make this trade make sense. So that was pretty much it on that guy. We would have taken entry. I personally, after these 2 hammers formed, I would have taken, oh, not right there. I would have taken entry probably after the close of this guy here, and then you would have been able to catch that. If you did and you waited for the breakout, say you were swinging it overnight, so you go ahead and let it go, you would have at that base there, if you waited for price to push down to this zone area here and waited for it to consolidate, you would have caught 61 pips, okay? Now 61 pips, let's put this into some consideration, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and type this out for you. Now keep in mind that was 61 pips. Now on a mini lot, or 0.10, so $1 per pip, that's pretty simple math there. That's going to be $61, right? But let's say you had a little bit of a larger account, and I'm not going to go into great detail as of what would be good risk management on that. That's something that you personally would take into play, or if you are one of my private students, then I do go over that. But just say, again, so 61 pip move, and say you were using a standard lot, which is $10 per pip, you're looking at $610. Okay? That's great. That's great money for being able to be sleeping and make that kind of money, all based off of the fact that you took the time to study, you put the confluence, the multiple confirmations into play for this trade to make sense for you, you took it, and you absolutely slaughtered it. Now, again, if you're going to double that, we can just, again, go on that regard to standard lots. You're going to be looking at $1,020. Great. Or, not $1,020. It's still somewhat early. 1,220. My apologies. That's great. That's great money, okay? Especially for just one trade. And something I like to tell my private students as well is if you can find yourself one solid setup a week and take it and know that, you are in good regard, then it's game over. Like I said, even one trade on a standard lot, okay, which I would trust doing on, say, $1,000 account, right? Even 500. But again, don't risk money that you're not willing to lose. A standard lot is $610. Okay, great. Now let's go ahead and go on over to UsdJpy. I personally did not take this trade, but one of my private students pointed this trade out. But I'm still going to mark it, or I have it marked up here for you, and I'm going to go ahead and show you why exactly this trade makes sense. Excuse me, I had to get some water. So, first and foremost, on this trade, the thing that got me is I like looking at higher time frames because it gives me the better generalization of where the market is at, especially when it comes to levels. So on the 4-hour time frame, and I had judged this, price had pushed down, broke daily support. So then what was once support then becomes resistance, right? So price had broke daily support and came back up, and I knew it was going to test this area, and it did exactly that, almost on the point. As I can see here, price broke and tested daily key level, formed a spinning top off that level, which we can look at on the hourly time frame. This here is the spinning top. Now, Another thing that made sense about this trade is the fact that, again, it was a rising wedge, which is a major market pattern. So actually a bearish major market pattern. My apologies. Just back on EURUSD, you can see the same thing. We had a rising wedge, which was a bearish market pattern. Same for UJ here. It's a bearish market pattern. We had a rising wedge. Throughout this whole period of time, there was price exhaustion at this key level once it had broke. There were smaller bodied candles sitting on the trend line the entire time, which is, to me, showing major bearish momentum, but it had not had enough money there yet to break through. As you can see here, you had a lot of smaller bodied candles after we had our spinning top form at that key level here, respected it here, came down, and we had a fake out candle which found a level of resistance. And I would have taken an entry after this candle closed. You would have taken an entry here, let it swing, and we're going to go ahead and look at this here. If you would have taken an entry there and then held that the entire night, that would have been 65 pips. Again, 65 pips, just a mini lot, 65 bucks. A standard lot, 650, and then double that on a 2 standard, okay, which is $20 per pip on a 2 standard lot. Again, guys, pretty simple. You cannot overcomplicate the process when it comes to trading in the market. A lot of people overcomplicate the process, and that's why they lose money. If you study the right material, if you have the right mindset when taking it to play, you don't rush the process by any means, then you will do just fine. Again, UsdJpy, pretty clear on that guy. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and look at AudJpy. This was my babe. This is the one that I had taken the EURUSD short. I did not take UsdJpy because I was already in AudJpy, but that's fine. Okay, you don't need to take a ton of trades a week. Like I said, if you can find 1 to 2 good trades a week, you'll be good and set to go. So the thing for AudJpy that got me is, again, we're going to look on the 4-hour time frame here. It broke that daily key level. It came back up to test that key level. Now we're going to go ahead and go back to the hourly time frame. And again, why I keep reverting back to the 4-hour time frame is it gets rid of the noise. On the hourly time frame is where I would mainly use it to the advantage of taking an entry. Okay. So as you can see here with this black dotted horizontal line that I have and this little pink dot here, price failed to push past the 82.859 area. So again, you can see I have that marked all the way across. The entire time it was just failing to break that area, and it was giving us wicking throughout the entire process. Again, and we're going to go ahead and slow down a little bit here. This is where I had initially saw the trade, which was on the 30-minute time frame, and that's why I then taken my time to mark it up and to see what exactly is going on here, and can I take an opportunity on this trade? Indeed, we could. Okay, so there was price exhaustion at this key level, and you can see here on the hourly time frame, you didn't see a bunch of that price exhaustion. That's why I went ahead and reverted down to the 30-minute time frame at that key level of resistance area. It also was creating a lower high point on the 4-hour time frame again, which was here. This was your next lower high. So again, you had that price exhaustion on the 30-minute. You can see this is where I had drawn that horizontal line. Price just failed. It was wicking that price every single time and respecting it. To me, that's major, especially with price that happened here on the 30-minute time frame. You can see that whole period of time, once it reached that zone, it was just like, no, 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 I am not going to break this area. That was really big for me, okay? That was really big for me, and I thought, wow, this is going to be a good opportunity. Again, we also had a major area of resistance here. As you can see, I have my supply area drawn previously in the past, and it was testing that area. It came up, it was respecting it, and that was game over. For me, I took my entry. You took your entry anywhere in here. Even if you would have taken your entry after this shooting star had formed here, this bearish shooting star, you could have, say you took your entry right there, you would have had a little bit of retrace, but like 6-7 pips. That's not a lot. Use good risk management, you'll be fine. So even up to 10 pips, but again, you have to use good risk management. So you could have taken your entry there and let her swing, let her do her thing. And again, it really comes down to the point of, trusting your ability, trusting your skill set, and having your mind be in correlation with that and knowing, what was going on. It's kind of funny, even here on the side, short opportunity, AJ, everybody else here on TradingView talking about it as well. So definitely was there. And if you would have taken your entry there and let it swing until this morning, you would have caught 60 pips. Again, mini lot, 60 bucks, standard, 600, double that, 1200, okay? That's great. That was 3 great opportunities we saw in a 2-day period of time. I called out the Euro, I pointed out, I should say, the Eurusd short, which some of my students did take, as well as the AudJpy short. Now the UJ opportunity, one of my private students had actually called that out, and I watched it happen. I had marked it up, and I'm going to go ahead and I showed you guys exactly why that trade made sense as well. But again, these are very just simple analysis. Again, put yourself in the right shoes, get the right training material, don't overcomplicate the process, and you'll have it made for you. And you can even see if you would have stayed up during that period of time that you would have, I mean, there on the 30, you had a head and shoulder pattern, but then you had price also creating lower highs the entire time, which is great because those are also areas where you can take more entries and stack if that's what you decide to do. That's what I like to do when trading, especially, I mean, whether it's a small account, whether it's one of my larger accounts, because I manage a couple different accounts, not managing for other people, just my own personal accounts. Smaller accounts to kind of test my ability, and then larger accounts to really capitalize on the situation. But on this trade here, personally, I had taken it on one of my smaller accounts and then my larger account. My smaller account, I turned it from $69 to $685 in a 24-hour period of time, and then I turned a $4,800 account into... let's go check this out here real quick. Bear with me. Like I said, I turned a $4,800 account into $48,977 just based off of this trade, which is incredible. Absolutely incredible. And that was also done within a 24-hour period of time. Again, this was yesterday morning. I had seen this AudJpy opportunity, and so I waited for the opportunity and struck it. And we held it until later that night, or until like 1 the next morning, and called it good, got out of my trades, took my profits, and made it happen. So again, make it simple. Do not overcomplicate it. I do appreciate you guys taking your time to watch this analysis. I hope it made some sense to you. If you have any questions, let me know. If you're looking for some type of Forex mentorship, I'm more than willing to help you out there as well. Everybody wins. Everybody eats. We make it as simple as possible, and we're going to kill it. It's going to be a great year. I'll catch you guys later. Have a great day.